It's hard not to think of the 80s without associating it with John Hughes. His films have left an indelible mark on the decade, and almost all of them have achieved cult status. But why did John Hughes films have such a universal appeal? Well, the answer is pretty simple. He lets us live out our childhood fantasies. Think about it. You and a teenage friend creating the perfect woman. Having the school to yourself at the weekend. Deciding to not even turn up to school. Having the house to yourself. The cutest dude in school choosing you. Being stuck in a mall after hours with a beautiful woman. Or imagine having your cool uncle looking after you instead of your dull, grey parents. At some point, we've all thought about these situations. John Hughes' films are largely considered comedy. In fact, some of them are even borderline screwball comedy. But he manages to capture a poignancy and a sentimentality.
The old man grabbed me and said, "Hey, smoke up, Johnny!"
He often chooses children or teenagers as his subject matter and manages to give us a glimpse or even a reminder of those teenage years. The Breakfast Club, as an example, touches on obvious teenage issues, but in a very delicate way. Puberty, class, poverty, mental health, and bullying. Again, with weird science, he captures the awkwardness of teenage years, wanting to fit in at all costs, sexual frustration, and of course, virginity.
Your sexual outlet is tossing off to magazines in the bathroom.
Oh, Gary! Ma, I never tossed off to anything!
This is also observed from the female perspective with such films as 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink. There are bold brushstroke subjects of family life that Hughes manages to illustrate beautifully through his writing. Christmas, sibling rivalry,
Dude, butt wad!
teenagers' relationships with their parents and even their grandparents, rejection, and suburbia. But again, they aren't obvious. You can see almost all of these themes in Home Alone. All of Hughes' films were superbly cast, with comedy actors who could also turn their hand to really touching and at times quite painful performances. As an example, his collaboration with John Candy, who could turn his hand to pretty much anything, whether it's physical comedy like he displays in The Great Outdoors, all the way through to some more serious moments in Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. I also listen too much.
This could be said with other long-time collaborators like Anthony Michael Hall, Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson. Sadly, John Hughes passed away in August 2009, but his legacy lives on in his films and iconic characters being referenced to this very day.
Jersey's pretty far from McHenry. May I ask what brought you here?
Some fuck named John Hughes.
16 Candles, John Hughes?
You know that guy too? That fucking guy. Made this flick 16 Candles. Not bad, there's tits in it, but no bush. But Ebert over here don't give a shit about that kind of thing. Cause he's like all in love with this John Hughes guy. Goes out and rents like every one of his movies. Fucking Breakfast Club, where all these stupid kids actually show up for detention. Fucking Weird Science, where this babe wants to take her gear off and get down, but oh no, she don't, because it's a PG movie. And then Pretty in Pink, which I can't even watch with this tubby bitch anymore, because every time we get to the part where the redhead hooks up with her dream guy, he starts sobbing like a little bitch with a skin knee and shit. And there's nothing worse than watching a fucking fat man weep.
What exactly brought you to Illinois?
See, all these movies take place in this small town called Sherman, Illinois, where all the honeys are top shelf, but all the dudes are whiny pussies. Except for Judd Nelson, he was fucking harsh. But best of all, there was no one dealing, man. Then it hits me. We could live like fat rats if we were the Blunt Connection in Sherman, Illinois. So we collected some money we owed and caught a bus. But you know what the fuck we found out when we got there? There is no Sherman.